Hey guys, my name is Haikal from the English Language Club of UiTM Changang Pulau Pinang, and I'm here to help you with some tips and tricks to issue your e-poster presentation. Personally, for me, presentation skills have helped me a lot to reach greater heights in my personal and academic life. These skills have led me to become more confident with my ideas whenever I have to give out any presentation and have boosted my self-esteem when I talk to various types of people. Probably without this skill, I wouldn't have considered entering the English Language Club. I personally believe that these skills are valuable life skills that will help you further in your education, create future careers for yourself, and also enrich your personal life. However, I completely understand that giving out a presentation can be quite a scary thing to do as you are presenting your ideas out in public. As for an experienced presenter myself, I do feel anxious whenever I have to speak out my ideas to people. And honestly, it's all right to feel some sort of anxiousness because it is normal to feel this way as you are putting yourself out of your comfort zone. To help myself, to help myself be physically and mentally prepared, I usually follow these two strategies to make my presentation fruitful and minimize my anxiousness for any presentation I give. At the end of this video, I'll show you an example how I put all these strategies in one go. Before you watch the rest of this video, remember to go watch our previous video on making an e-poster. Enjoy.
One of the crucial elements in determining how good your presentation is your preparation. So how do you create a good presentation? There are 4 things that you need to know. Now, one of the first tips I want to give you, and which is the most important tip of all, is that you should always prepare a script. All the best presenters started by creating a script. Beginner or novices, I would highly recommend you guys write down everything down in your script. It is important to do so because whenever you're stuck, you can always refer what you have written down in your script. As I started speaking out in front, I usually have a set of templates with me so I can be structured in what I say. And that has been a crucial development for me because I know the order of what I have to say whenever I express my ideas or point to other people. The second tip that I would like to give you is set a time limit. As individuals, we like to talk about ourselves. However, when you want to give a presentation, you have to set a time limit so your audience know the important details what you have to say. Your audience have limited time to listen to your presentation and they don't have all day. You have a very short time span and it usually lasts around 15 to, well not 15 but 10 to 15 minutes, around that time. We fall into the trap mixing important details with irrelevant explanation because we tend to get excited with the content of our speech. To overcome this problem, I will usually double check my content and time my presentation. Whenever you give out a presentation, double check your content whether your points and elaborations are important to say. Reread your script and see if there's any unnecessary points or elaborations. Eliminate them so you can focus your time on explaining the important facts to your audience. If after you have reread your script, time yourself so you don't go over or under the time limit. The next tip that I like to give you is to know your audience. All the best presenters will identify their audience before giving out a presentation. This is key because knowing your audience will let you know what you have to say in your presentation and connect with them. Certain groups of individuals will require different ways of explanation and examples. If you were talking to gamers, you would try to fill in your content with a lot of gaming references, examples such as RPG, game mechanics, frames per second, all that good gaming references. And also relevant gaming examples such as FIFA or Counter-Strike. Since you guys are presenting this to your lecturers, try to understand what the lecturers would like you to say during your e-poster presentation so you can get the marks you need. The last tip that I like to give for this strategy is to have effectiveness of your content. Whenever we think of speeches, automatically we think that we have to use bombastic or big words. However, that's not the case. Most presentations use simple English because not everybody will understand all the bombastic words in the dictionary. Even right now, the way I'm speaking to you, I'm not using any bombastic words in my presentation. I'm only using simple English to communicate. What you should actually focus on in your presentation is your grammar construction. Grammar is the backbone in every language to communicate and help others understand what you are saying. So ask your lecturer to check your grammar and remember to do it. So remember to put a lot of attention in your grammar so you can communicate effectively to let your audience understand what you have to say to them. So the first thing, now that you have prepared your presentation, it's time to tackle the preparation to talk. Here are 6 things you have to pay attention to. The tip that I like to give for this strategy is to visualize your conversation. Before you talk in front of an audience, you have a vision in mind of what you want to say and how you want to say it. This is very important because you can identify what you want your audience to get from your presentation. Do not go in your presentation with the end goal in mind, or else you have trouble speaking in front and also putting out your ideas to the audience. Take some time to think and visualize how it will go in your head. Imagine how you're going to explain it and make people interested to hear what you have to say. Once you have your goals and ideas on what you want to say and how you're going to present it, execute it. The second tip, which I think is a bit more challenging, is to become an actor. What I find amazing about presentations is how people act to get their points across. What do I mean by this? Basically, what I'm trying to say is put in your emotion, add repetition to stress out your points, and also some exaggerations. When you speak in front, you should always put different intonation or voice tones to make your presentation marketable and colorful. It is a powerful tool to express how important an idea or point is. Another component you can add in your presentation is to add some repetitions. Repetitions in your presentation is when you repeat the point to make it stick in the audience's head. It is the point that you want your audience to remember the most, and a lot of iconic speeches have repetitions. It does take some time to master these skills. However, you can go down in the description below to see some examples of how intonations and repetition is used in a presentation. Third tip to me, I think, is more of a added component to make your speech more colorful and to be more human, which is to add in some storytelling and humor elements. So if you have personal stories or humor, you want to add them in to create a fun presentation so your audience can laugh and relate. Not only do amazing presenters know how to be somewhat like an actor, but they also add the humor and storytelling element in their presentation. It adds the human aspect of the presentation, and personally, I don't use much humor in my presentation because I prefer using some stories of my personal life, as it is way easier to add in, as you can create humor from telling your personal stories. The fourth tip is a common mistake and a common thing that happens usually when beginners start presenting is you have to remove your fillers. Fillers are the ums and uhs in your presentation. It's not advisable to have many fillers in your presentation as it will disrupt the flow of your speech. Fillers usually pop up when we are nervous or we do not know what to say. I do have a slight problem with this because it has become a habit of mine. However, my take on it is do not put any fillers in your presentation, as you are adding something unnecessary to your presentation, as you have a lot of other things to say later. Not only it makes your presentation less presentable, it is not convincing to hear also. The best way to overcome this is whenever you are stuck or nervous, pause for a few seconds to recollect back your thoughts and continue your presentation. The next thing that I'm going to tell you is the most helpful tip that I've gotten whenever I present to people. And honestly, this is quite a recent tip that I've gotten from last year. So the fifth tip that I would like to give you is that interact with your audience before speaking. This for me has become a very useful tip to overcome anxiety whenever I want to present. If you notice, we can speak clearly and effectively when we are calm. Why is that? We are comfortable with our surroundings. So go around and start making a small conversation with the people you are presenting to. Say something simple like good morning sir, good morning madam, or how are you doing today? Make sure that you are comfortable with your surroundings so you can give it your all in your presentation. Lastly, to make all these tips useful, the last tip for this strategy is to always practice. After you have completed your presentation, now it is time to practice. Every good presenter practices before going out to present. This is the time to know what part of your presentation are lacking and focus on what you have to improve. There are a lot of ways you can practice to help you improve. It's alright to practice a lot because a lot of practice prepares you for the actual presentation that you are going to give. It is also alright to fail and make mistakes, as it does take some time to be a very good presenter. Remember that to make your failures your best teachers, and remember that Rome wasn't built in one day. Alright, so I hope you guys find all these tips and tricks useful to help you later with your presentation. These two strategies that I've shared with you are basic yet powerful tips to help you improve the way you present. Learning the basics is an essential process for everyone to go through, as these basic tips are the pillars of what makes a good presentation. This is especially true even for professionals, as they would refer back to these basic tips. Even for myself, I would do the same. It does take some time to flourish in the art of presenting, but with the grit and determination, anything is possible. Remember to trust the process and always respect the hustle. Thank you. If you're interested with the content we provide, consider following us on Facebook, IG, and our YouTube channel. Press that like and subscribe button and put on that notification bell. And if you have any questions regarding ways to improve your presentation, do leave it down in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video or the next show. Bye.